We are so glad to have you join with us again for another get together with me and my wife Kyla here as we are looking forward to doing a quick devotional and some thoughts as all of us are enjoying this week of being stuck in homes together and trying to get things done. Yesterday I had someone call me and say, "Hey, Pastor Joe, have you guys lost your minds yet?" I said, "No, that happened long before this ever came to pass." But I have a quick Bible verse I want to read to you real quick. It's in Psalm chapter number 1. It says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away." You know, my wife Kyla and I are thoroughly enjoying spending time with our kids. As we were both saying, we're kind of looking forward to when this pandemic is over, this way life gets back to normal. But we're also enjoying getting some extra time spending with our kids together. Honey, how about you tell them about what we did maybe 2 nights ago to kind of help our kids give it a little bit more of a distraction?
Well, we decided as a family to plant seeds for our garden for the summer, and what better way to spend our time here cooped up at the house than to do something fun like that for our kids. So we planted, I think, what was it, about 50 seeds.
50 different flower plants and seeds, yep.
We planted tomatoes and some sunflowers and
squashes, radishes,
zucchini,
Yep.
So the kids loved it. I mean, they were up to their elbows in dirt, trying to plant these seeds and stuff. And we have a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Of our starters. Here's our sunflower, which I'm excited about because they're one of my favorite flowers. And then here's one of our starts to our tomatoes. And our kids are like, "Oh, Mommy, they're growing." I was like, "Well, it's because your help and the good soil and the water and the sunshine, is helping them grow."
And I think, in our world today, there used to be a time when everyone had a garden. And ever since I married my wife, that was something she actually enjoyed. I personally am not as big into gardening. I was a landscaper for years. I don't love gardening much, but I'm grateful for the fruit that comes from it. And I think that in our world today, with so many people having food insecurities, this is to be a great thing for people to get back into their households, is having this garden in your backyard where you can actually have the fruit of your labor come forth. But as my wife and I were talking about this earlier, she brought a great parallel. She said, well, yes, we need to help people have a garden in their backyard for food, for physical, but we also need to have something for spiritual. And she was telling me a verse earlier. Honey, I'll let you go ahead and tell them the verse and what you were thinking.
Yeah, well, I was, when we were talking about doing this, we were talking about how we're going to talk about plants and how it could help us physically and nutritionally, but also it could help us spiritually. And I thought of a verse in Galatians 6:7. It says, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap." And reading that verse, we can so easily get distracted with what's going on in the world, not just with being quarantined with this virus that's going around, but even before this, we get so caught up in our everyday life that we don't really think of, taking extra time to sit and pray, to read our Bible so we can grow. And God's not being fooled by this. And I think this is a test from God trying to plant a seed in all of us to be able to help other people out. And when it says, "For whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap," just like Pastor Joe was saying about how somebody sent us a gift in the mail the other day of how we could do something different for someone. We had a blessing in our mail today. Somebody sent us a basket of coffee, which is
It's National Joe Day. In case you didn't know, today's National Joe Day. So they sent us a box of coffees, my wife's favorite coffees and my favorite teas. And that's from that. You reap what you sow.
So if you sow good, then you will reap good or even greater things in life. If you reap sadness or depression, then that's what you're gonna get. You're not gonna, if you sow an apple seed, you're not gonna get an orange tree.
Yep.
So I mean, we've heard that parallel before. What we sow in the ground, in the dirt, will come out the same fruit or plant that you have planted in the soil. So, like, for instance, for our sunflowers, we planted sunflower seeds. So we're not going to get lilac bushes, although those are beautiful as well as sunflowers, but we'll get a sunflower. And like with our tomatoes, we're not going to get cucumber out of a tomato seed. So we got to remember that if we plant kindness, you'll reap kindness, but you have to plant it first and water it and, nurture it. With how we react to other people and how we react to what's going on in the world today. Yes, we may be stuck at home, but we find things to do, like we talked about before. If you watched our previous video about how we could do fun things with the kids.
Yep.
Well, this is kind of an added to what we talked about before, is planting flowers, working out in the yard, stuff like that, little stuff like that. Is there anything else?
And I think, my wife and I, we talked about this, that my mom put this love into me as a child of planting seeds. And it was a great lesson. So if you have young kids, or if you're a grandmother or a grandfather, you could right now instill this into your children and grandchildren. This value of, hey, if we plant this, you reap what you sow. And I remember that lesson that was taught to me years ago. You reap what you sow, you reap more than what you sow, and you reap later than what you sow. And right before my mom passed away, my mom found one of her favorite songs that she ever found. It was called "Sow Mercy." And my mom used to sing that song all the time. And the song, if you never listened to it, is beautiful. And the whole song says, sow mercy, sow grace, sow kindness, sow faith. And the whole song is all about that one day you can reap back what you sow, but you only get what you sow. And so I'm so grateful for my mom teaching me a love of gardening. And my wife talked about her mom taught her a love of gardening, and finding the value of that and using that visual picture today. And so I challenge you, if you don't have an actual garden in your backyard, maybe start one now. I'll say this, we did it in these little cups, because you put a flower out in Michigan outside right now, it'll be a frozen brick in the middle of the night. So do something like that, but start off everything small in its proper place. And then grow and let it continue to build, and let it grow forth in your own life, and watch as it goes and blesses others. And I think that all people should start their own physical garden in their own backyard to be a blessing to themselves and to their neighbors. And then I think beyond that, we should all look well to the garden of our soul and apply God's gifts, and then watch what we sow, because what you sow in your heart will eventually be what comes out. Well, I thank you for watching this. I hope that you're having a good day. I hope that you will sow some mercy. I hope that you'll be like the tree God wanted you to be. And I hope that you'll be in church online this Sunday. Honey, anything else you want to add?
Just have a great day. We're praying for you.
You guys take care.